The mayor posted at the left door stepped up to him, a hoof reaching out to him. Is everything all right, sir? Massaging the sides of his head with small vertical strokes, Sans groaned. Ugh. Those ponies are just pathetic. Do you know who they are? The soldier shook his head. No, sir. Said I've known, sir. Facing her, he said, Those were not our soldiers. They were dressed in our attire to confuse us. I recognized the white one, according to what I've been told. Running back, the mayor rose her weapon, turning to the entrance. We need to stop them. No, that's interjected, laying a hoof on her shoulder. We're not. Staring up at him with scratched goggles over her mask, he asked, Why not? Are they not imposters that need to be killed? Dessa's eyelids drooped halfway, as he frowned at the soldier before him. Vladimir has some big plans to secure the future of our order, and for it to work, he needs to get them in without a scuffle. In fact, I order most of the soldiers on the lower levels to station themselves in the upper levels for the time being, all except for one demonstration they're performing now in front of the lower level slaves. The soldier leaned to the side, glancing over. That's the guard stationed by the front door. So I informed the others in the entrance, sir. Exhaling all the air in his lungs, Thad shook his head slowly. No, I'll inform them, soldier. Let's just hope that His Majesty's plan does not end up causing more harm to our operations than good. Vladimir threw open the bottom drawer of his dresser, throwing out the folded keeps and garments within that side. After clearing out the clothing, he moved on to the next one, performing the same chaotic action. Around him, small mounds of cloth piled upwards the more he tossed them into the air. What is it? He muttered, a warm sweat running down his brow. What is it? Reaching the top door, he flung out the first layer of folded cloths, before the spectre poked its head from one of the piles of green keeps and uniforms. Smirking, it floated out of the cloths, laying back against the keeps, whilst Vladimir frantically searched his drawer. You're looking for the box, right? Vladimir didn't reply. Shrugging, the creature rested its head back, crossing both floor legs behind its head. Suit yourself. I know where it is, just so you know. Vladimir rose his head towards the apparition, an eyebrow raised. I'd rather might that be, If you know what's going on, you know that I am in a hurry at the moment. The creature shook his head. You, in a hurry? Really? Vladimir's eyebrows dropped as a frown came to his face. He giggled at him. I must say, I find toying with you to be very amusing. A heat was gathering inside Vladimir's brow, growing in intensity the longer he stood staring at the spectre. What is it? Falling himself, the creature pouted. You're no fun. But I suppose you're right. Do you remember putting it in the drawer? Vladimir directed his sights towards the door. Yes. Pointing to the nightstand by Vladimir's cot, it said, It's in the nightstand. You wanted to record something earlier, when you had that dizzy spell of yours a little bit ago. Guessing, Vladimir rested a hoof on his burning forehead. Did I? I don't remember. Little rat, losing your memories. That can't be a good sign, it snickered. Glaring at the creature, Vladimir snapped. Shut it, you demon! I've had it with your snarky remarks. Racing onto all four black, dramatic hooves, it nodded. Very well, but they won't help you, just so you know. Coughing into his hoof, Vladimir stumbled toward the nightstand. Tripping over his hose, he fell forward, barely catching himself on the four legs of the cot. His hose were trembling as he gradually lifted up his head. Vladimir's eyes were locked onto his shaking hooves, before letting out another hoarse cough. Briskly slapping a hoof over his mouth, he looked down into it. Within it, specks of a dark, deep red liquid saturated the entire sole of his hoof. Blinding his eyes, Vladimir's body went cold. It's getting worse. Moving his gaze to the nightstand, he shuffled to it, yanking on the wooden frame of the drawer. He looked inside, where, sitting upon hats and empty wine bottles, was the black recording box. Sighing, he picked it up and setting it down on the cot. I found you. Taking a deep, cool breath, he pressed the button in the bottom right-hand corner of the box surface. Out the front, protruding slightly, was a tiny slit, was a holotape. Putting the tape into his hoof, he smiled at it. I can't have anyone following you. Come with me. Stuffing the tape inside his sales bags, he straightened out his freelancer duster, facing the door. You'll see, Vladimir whispered. Just will look. It has to. Protruding slightly from the lip of his saddlebag, the holotape teetered uneasily as he marched to the door. Passing the nightstand, the tape tumbled out of his bag and onto the floor of his chamber. Marching through the hall doorway, the tape rested by the cot as Vladimir shut the door behind him. Twisting the last screw of the heads on the bottom of his pip-buck, Anna moved his face closer to it. Squinting at the screwdriver slowly, fastened his pip-buck. Biglock tried next to him, discovering the personal risk appear he worked on. "What did you do to that thing?" Biglock asked, rotating the screwdriver to the side of his head. Adam gently nestled the tool easily in the space between his head and ear. "I basically sent out an emergency alert to all the other pip-bucks in the area." Biglock raised an eyebrow. "Wouldn't that mean everyone knows where we are? How does that help us?" "There aren't many ponies out there, or even nearby for that matter, who have pip-bucks. Only those born in a stable can get one. At least that should be the case," said Adam. Biglock cocked her head to one side, standing up and taking a single step toward him. "What do you mean, that should be the case?" Anna's eyes trailed out to the side as he shrugged. "I've seen quite a few things out here. Wouldn't be surprised if someone not naturally from a stable have one." "So?" Biglock cooed. "So? Anything's possible. There might be some demon monster with a pip-buck out there for all I know." Anna looked down at Biglock with a smile. "But, despite the risk, I'm willing to bet my brother's nearby, even if everyone else with a pip-buck can find me." Placing a hoof over her heart, Biglock felt her heart suddenly turn in a tightening knot. Standing beside Adam, she remained fixed in a standing position, feeling the strange pain twist in her chest. Bill was at the cell door, sticking his nose through the small open gap. Looking out into the dim hallway, Bill glanced back and forth before pushing the heavy steel door back with both hooves. Grunting, he squinting his eyes as the muscles inside his forelegs burned and strained. Getting the door slightly open proved to be a simple task. Completely shoving it all the way open was an entirely different level of difficult. The iron hinges along the metal door frame squealed as the door eventually opened. Laying his back against the cell door, Bill slid himself down onto his flank, wiping his sweat-laden brow. "Hey, he chuckled. "Their mouths are strong if they can open and close those doors with one hoof." Adam rose himself, trying to the door. "Good job, Bill," Adam chopped, offering a hug to his friend. "But we're here too. If you needed help, you could have asked." Bill locked his hoof of Adam, spouting out raspy chuckles under his breath as he got up. "Figure I'll just get it done with. The sooner we get out, the better." Watching Bill stand on his hooves, Adam countered, "Okay, but if you're having trouble, don't be afraid to ask us." Shaking her head quickly, Biglock's long curly locks went flying about in all directions as her mind cleared. The other slaves walked past her on the way out of the cell as she stood in the cell by herself. Still, the pain persisted, gnawing, biting at Biglock's heart like a parasite feasting on her insides. Regardless of the agonizing torment, Biglock retained a placid expression as she too followed the other slaves out of the cell. Through the doorway each pony went, with Adam leaning on the outside hallway. Steel doors, much like the ones that once contained them, lined the hallway on each side. Between the narrow, rocky-covered walls separating the dense cells, entrances were square light fixtures, all connected by thin wires, pinned to the arching cage ceiling above. On the top of the ceiling, thick pipes were bundled together, creaking and groaning as the pressure built within. Further down the hallway, the sound of steam hissing echoed, carrying out through the entire corridor. Pulling the pip-buck to his face, Adam stared at the map of the dark mines. "By the way things look, we're on one of the lower levels in the mines. We'll have to get out of here. We'll need to go up 2 more levels." One of the slaves, a red Earth Point stallion, stepped up. "What's 2 levels above us?" Adam kept his eyes fixed on the screen above his pip-buck. "Some kind of secondary exit to the other side of the city." "You think that's the best to get out?" the stallion asked. Dropping his leg back to the ground, Adam faced the stallion, bolstering an expression tinged with hard sincerity in his eyes. "Helping us with you. All of you." Shaking his head, Adam exhaled the warm, dusty air from his lungs, cleansing himself. What we're about to do is dangerous. And even if the exit is 2 levels up, that doesn't make it easy. In order for all of us to get out of this alive, we need to work together. Hovering a hoof an inch away from his lips, Adam said, and that means from this point on, no talking. The only exception is if it's absolutely something dire, or if I need to convey the next step of the plan to you. Otherwise, we'll need to wait until we're out of here. Under the husky tone of his voice, Adam asked, "Do you think you can do that?" Soft murmur floated around the small group, before Bill solidly nodded at Adam. You sure bet we can. Adam smiled. Alright, then keep close to my flank. I'll see if I can get us up to the next level. Rubbing his flank to the group, Adam stared down the long hallway and decided the vast, extensive corridor. Adam felt his stomach plummet. Swallowing once, he trotted onward, the other captured ponies following close behind. At the end of the corridor was a fork, splitting halfway into two opposing paths. Both looked identical, sporting the same cells, hissing steam pipes above. After checking the map briefly, Adam faced the left halfway. The air was heavily saturated with wet moisture. The further he went down the hallway, the more dense the humidity became. Coming to the end of the hall, a large, round, spacious room with a high ceiling revealed itself. A small catwalk was carved from stone out of the caved walls, encompassing the entire area, overlooking the mining area below. Barrels of low, glowing flames were placed around the little area underneath the catwalk, and slaves chained to one long length away hacked at the cave wall with pickaxes. The warm yellow light from the rusty green canisters glowed against the faces of the lanky slaves. Dark rims shadowed under the reasons of their sleep-deprived eyes, while large droplets of salty sweat ran under the tufts of thin fur across their bodies. Patrolling behind the slaves were 7 dark miners, each holding barbed bludgeons, attentively watching them toil against the solid rock. Right before Adam and the group was a set of metal stairs leading up to another hallway. Looking down at the ponies toil away at the sides of the wall made an aching sensation clutch Adam's heart. There would come a time to save them. Without weapons or other tools, getting anyone out of the mines was an impossible task. Taking a deep breath of damp air, the feeling faded slightly. Adam directed his sights to the staircase. Stepping lightly, Adam guided the group behind him up the stairs. The next hallway contained no cells. No, Herculean steel barriers confined slaves and prisoners alike. Thick bolted cell doors were now replaced with smooth sliding doors that were adorned with small orange bombs along their metal door frames. Adam continued down the hall a short distance before they came to another room. It was much smaller in size, holding the appearance of a break lobby. Like all of the rooms, the walls were carved out of the wet gray rock that made up almost most of the mines. A single round light fixture hung in the center of the ceiling, providing a dim amount of illumination to the area. A table was placed along the wall next to a stack of wooden storage crates, stacked on top of one another in the corner. 3 open lockers were located next to the doorway they entered from, all holding empty bottles and pebbles of crude metal ores. Persistent in the middle of the right wall was a set of sliding doors. Directly in front of them, another doorway with a flight of stairs leading up to the next level. Adam smiled, walking across the room to the stairs. Halfway across the room, directly in front of the door along the right wall, a whooshing sound blasted beside them. Dual doors parted, revealing 2 dark miners standing side by side, casually walking into the lounge room. One had tied to its side a sharpened thatch, while the other was armed with a round ball mace. As their glowing eyes locked into the group of escaping slaves, they froze, standing in the middle of the doorway. Adam and the other ponies following him paused, staring back at the 2 dying miners. A still, unnerving silence persisted between them for a moment. Adam's heart beat, starting to race as the miners stood the aisle, holding an unwavering focus on the entire group. With wide eyes, pounding hearts, the escaping ponies started to tremble. Then, out of the silence came a scratching, blood-churning screech from both miners. Stumbling backwards, Adam and the others backed away from the miners the longer the scream continued. The instant the screeching stopped, the miners lunged forced at the group, snarling, hissing, "Disobedient! Insolent! Kill!" The Meyer with his mace drew his weapon and flung it at Bill's face. Leaning back at the end of the flaming weapon, flew a few inches away from Bill. Adam tackled Meyer and attacked Bill, letting out a powerful cry as he did. When Adam's body made contact with the mire, the two of them went crashing to the hard stone ground, rolling and twisting along the wet floor. Bill raised his hoof ready to pound Adam's attacker in the throat. Launching his hoof at the mire's gullet, the mace attached to his mask went flying at Bill as Adam wrestled with the slave driver. Coming to contact with his chest, Bill went staggering back into the table before collapsing to the ground, moaning. The mire wielding the axe came charging at the mare, flashing the polished steel of the sharp blade toward her. Crackling a gruff, wheezing laugh, the mire prowled toward her, gradually backing the mare at the corner of the room. Little slave. Fear. Scared. Yes. The mare felt her flank pressed against the corner of the wall, lowering herself. She shook her head now, quivering her long lip. I don't want to die. I'll go back. Please. Standing within a foot from her, the mire rose his axe high in the air, towering above her, letting loose the same time-sealing screech. Die! Slamming the blade of the axe, dunk into the mare's shoulder. Maya briskly removed the blood-stained axe against the mare, howled in pain. Falling to her stomach, she was trembling, while warm blood pooled at her side. The stallion was watching next to the axe, wielding Meyer, gritting his teeth. Spinning him round, he dropped his crimson head to the floor, bucking his hind legs at the Meyer's head. Knocking the mire to his side, the stallion raced to the mire, wrestling with Adam, pulling a hoof into the side of Adam's head. The mire rolled the buck onto his back. Standing over Adam, the mire chuckled, holding his head firmly against the ground. The stallion, charging his head first, came at the mire. From out of this corner was glowing eye. The mire saw the challenger racing towards him. Swiftly jerking the end of his weapon around the heavy ball of the mace, smashed at the stallion's temple. A direct hit was followed by a dull cracking sound as droplets of fresh blood sprayed onto the side of the stallion's head. Falling to the floor, the stallion was on the ground, convulsing wildly with wide, twitching eyes. On the floor, groaning in pain and curling to a ball, was the mire with the axe. Big Lot had stepped back from the action. She watched with horror unfolded before her, as with flattened ears, as the mess of slave blood stained the floor. Ringing in her ears canceled out all other sounds, all other thoughts to act. She felt powerless as she saw the mace-wielding Meyer turn to Adam. Taking a hoof, the short staff of the mace, Meyer placed it along Adam's neck. Pressing his full weight into the two ends of the weapon, the shaft dunk into Adam's throat. Flinging his hooks at the Meyer on top of him, to please for help, he tried to shout as it came out of muffled gurgles. Shrilling under his breath, the Meyer lowered the breather of his mask down to Adam's ear. Hush, little slave. Sleep. Sleep long. Never wake. Bill was knocked off to the side, and the two other slaves who had escaped with them dying. The only pointing guns capable of retaliation was heard. Peacock was petrified. Hose shook, heart pounding away. As her eyes trailed off to the moaning Meyer with an axe, she squeaked, Adam? Looking at Adam's movement slow, and the veins in his eyes turned red. She felt the same knot tight in her heart. Adam? She had always been the one choking ponies, punishing, torturing others for meager reasons, sometimes to be a sport of it. See it done before her, to a pony who had done so much to help her ached inside. Turning her sights to the axe, she took in a deep breath, bounding towards the weapon. With both hands wrapped tightly around the axe's shaft, she ripped off the mightiest breather. Gripping the shaft of the axe between her teeth, she came between the groaning Meyer's side. Pulling her head back, she swung the blade upward into the Meyer's stomach. Glossy, the glistening, sharpened blade deeply into the slave driver's flesh, the Meyer hissed, letting go of the mace. Stumbling backward, Big Lot forcefully removed the axe, sending her falling back into the haunches. The Meyer stepped away from Adam, forelegs firmly pressed against the bleeding laceration in the cursed stomach. A green, glowing liquid ran profusely down the sides of himself as he squeezed hoarsely. My blood! Facing Big Lot, the Meyer hissed, You! Big Lot stood up. The weight of the axe's blade shifted in her little head to the side as he came to the Meyer, staring up at him. Narrowing her eyebrows, she shot at the Myers' only leg, supporting the rest of it up. Shifting its leg to the ceiling, the Meyer howled, falling to his face. Her teeth dug into the dyed, bitter wood of the shaft. Big Eyes exclaimed, "You're my friends! You don't kill them! Anyone who does, dies!" Stupid, the Meyer coughed. So stupid. Growling at the dying creature before her, Big Eyes slammed the blade bent to the back of the Meyer's neck repeatedly. Without each powerful shot, she spat, "I am a princess! You'll die, not me!" Green glowing blood mixed with the dark red blood of the mares upon the blade. Across the floor and all around Big Lot was the strange, tainted lifeblood of the miner. Dropping the axe from her mouth, the blade clattered along the ground. Slipping back into her flank, she huffed deeply. Her teeth soared from the holding weapon. Adam was coughing loudly. His air started to fill his lungs once again. Lifting himself up, his legs shook uneasily as he picked himself up. What happened? Coughing to his hoof, Adam slowly turned to Big Lot. In front of her was the body of the miner, its wounds still ejecting a stream of blood from its body. Did you do this, Big Lot? Adam asked. She held her narrowed eyebrows, looking at him. Yeah, I did it. Scanning the room around him, a sea of gore and death came to view. The stallion, with the side of his head bast inside, the mare buried clinging to life in the corner, sent an icy stain rolling down his spine. Staring at the two of them with wide open eyes, Adam bit his lip, feeling his stomach turn. Grunting, Adam stood onto all four hooves, lumbering over to the mare in the corner of the room. The side of her stomach rose slightly, as the breathing course, brought on by blood filling her lungs. Sitting down beside her, Hal looked to the floor, feeling tears gather up and roll over her eyes. I'm sorry. For what? The mare groaned. A tear ran down the side of Adam's cheek. I promised I would get you out, all of you. We got this far, didn't we? The mare rejected a weak, trembling smile. You need to go through. Move on without us. Adam's simmering emerald eyes looked at her. I can't. Maybe we could still save you, and we're done for it. She coughed. I doubted you before, and I was completely wrong about you. Looking over to Adam's side, Big Lot sat next to him, watching the mare die. I can still help you! I can! Adam cried. Sending a hoof to her, Adam pleaded, please, just let me try. No, she wheezed. Please, no. Adam's teeth were chattering as his chest filled with hurting sorrow, carving jaggedly into his heart. Then what can I do? Remember me and him, she said, smiling. Big Lot didn't cry, nor did she hold an expression of dread. Only a hard look of determination was visible in her narrowed eyes. What are your names? Big Lot carried. Icefire. My name is Icefire, she choked. The other one, his name was Arrow. Over tears of pain festering his chest, Adam smiled. Those are wonderful names. Bill groaned, raising his head from the floor, blinking and rubbing the side of his pulsing head. Adam? Lifting himself up, he looked over to Adam and Big Lot. With his mouth hung agape and eyes fully open, Bill examined the scene as he came to his surviving friends. Stepping over Arrow's dead body, Bill mumbled, What happened to them? There was no reply as he came to Big Lot's side. Together, the three of them gathered around Icefire's body. In a brief moment, the moment of her stomach was gone, and the wheezing faded along with the life inside of her as she grew still. Adam moved his head slightly toward Bill. Does this happen to you? Losing the ones you promised to protect while traveling? Bill closed his eyes and lowered his head, placing a hoof over his heart. Sighing, he replied, Too often, Adam. Two Socks was the only one I never lost. She told me her names, Adam murmured. She told me to remember them. Raising his head, Bill looked at him. Do we need to? Especially when we're out of this place. Once he had the soreness inflicted on him by the mace, Bill noted, Right now, we need to go. Remember that won't do us no good if we're dead. Big Hot stood up, nodding. He's right. We need to get out of here. Then you can remember them. Bill finished for her. Big Hot stared up at him. Yeah, that. Forcing himself to stand, Adam's body quivered. When he got up to his host, he wiped away the tears that soaked the fur along his cheeks. When we get out of here, we need to remember them. We need to free the ponies of this place. We need to bring this entire mine down. Green's teeth, as did Ice Fire's body. We need to, for them. There was a wooden stage placed in the center of the large open chamber. Dozens of malnourished slaves huddled tightly around the base of the wooden structure. Overhead, long flight fixtures dangled from the thick power cables that ran along the top of the ceiling, while little spaces around the area were shrouded in dark cold shadows that was warmed by the heated glow of the green metal barriers filled with their dead branches, burning a yellow flame. Neo trotted with the others along the edge of the herd gathered around the stage. A faint murmur lingered about in the crowd as the platform was empty. Allie came beside Neo, turning her goggles to the stage. What are you all doing? Neo stopped and looked toward the stage. I don't know, he whispered. Everyone came to a halt behind Neo, with through the intent of Lucy. As he came strolling to him, hissing, Why did we stop? Keeping an unwavering stare on the stage, Neo rose a hoof to his lips. Shh, quiet. Low chariot of slaves diminished as a Legion Unicorn officer, dressed smartly in a cap decorated with a golden star, came onto the stage. His left breast was adorned in a polished, clattering gold medals. Sycord's mane was greased back, adding a dim gloss to its hue. The officer stood stiffly by the edge of the platform, while another soldier led 3 slaves up to the stage. With lower heads and rattling iron chains dragging behind their feet, slaves arranged themselves side by side in the center of the platform. Bowing his head to the soldier, the officer turned slowly, patrolling the slave line. As he paced back and forth to the stage, he spoke. Do you know what they call a pony that breaks into another pony's home unwelcome? The audience was silent. Pausing at the end of the slave line, the officer faced the crowd. They're called a thief! Pointing a hoof at the slaves behind him, he added, These ponies you see before you hate us. They hate what we are, and what we've all been to you is generous. And what do you do despite our generosity? The officer growled. You betray us! With thievery and disobedience. Tilly said gentle clothes these 3 stole food from the Legion kitchen on the 6th level. Directing his eyes to the audience, he smiled, addressing the ponies gathered around in a soft tone. My little ponies, understand that what you do for the future of civilization. You are not beasts, but living beings who will work to build a better future for us all. It is through the taxing labor that you take us to the next stage of recovering the world we lost. Retaining a smile, the officer continued. To reward you for your work, we give you so much. Protection from the outside, food, a place to sleep. Most of you are understanding, thankful for our altruistic nature. Once beaming smile faded to a cold glare. But then there are some of you who would think us monsters, cruel and unruly with our ways. Ponies, like the very ones you see before you on this stage. Walking to the center of the stage, in front of the male slave, he sighed, To them, our kindness isn't enough. It is never enough. Acts against the Legion, or the mine will go unpunished. Looking towards the slaves behind him, the officer spat. Perhaps 2 weeks. No food or light will make them appreciate the full extent of our generosity, along with 12 lashings each. Allie nudged Leo and the soldier quickly. Yo, we should go, right now. Leo didn't give her a reply. His legs were locked in place. To show you the full consequence of betraying our charity, they will be lost here, right before your very eyes, the Legion officer announced. Lucy pressed to Neo's side, taking him by the shoulder and gently tugging him toward her. Yeah, Neo, let's go. We don't need to see this. They're treated like beasts, Neo thought, eyes wide and frozen on the scene, just like an iron hoof. Lucy rolled her eyes, raising her hoof. I hope it didn't come to this. Briskly slapping Neo across the cheek, a searing pain sent him reeling, bringing him back into reality. The spot Lucy had hit was a throbbing red spot. Neo shook his head, snapping at her. What the hell? Suddenly placing a hoof over the injury, he grunted, groaning. What did you do that? Lucy bumped him down slightly, liking a hoof to see it hit Neo with. While in tinkling ears, he coursed through her body. Damn, that felt good. I'm glad that worked as fast as it just did, you big old lug. Leo as an officer moved to the soldier, standing at the edge of the stage, taking in the grip of a blue magic aura, a whip, with sharp metal bits at the end of leather lengths. Lucy briefly looked at the demonstration before returning to Neo. Resting a hoof on Neo's shoulder, Lucy leaned her face closer to him. I know this place sucks. What they're doing here is wrong. But let's not lose sight that we're here to save your brother and Two Socks' pal. Neo was silent for a moment before he gave her a slow nod. Yeah, you're right. Picking up one hoof, Neo inhaled a deep breath of hot, dense air. Then, trying to the end of the room, the group followed him into a long hallway leading away from the stage. Inside Neo's chest, a feeling of hollowed emptiness emerged. It was the very same sensation he had felt watching the police of Arcan suffer at the hands of the mad Legion officer, Captain Cyrus. As he went about trying through the corridor, the faint sounds of flesh being thrashed from the loud crisp cracks in the air echoed down the hallway. On the piercing sounds of the whip came the cries of a stallion. Hearing the torture ring in his ears, Neo flinched at every crack. He quickened his pace, putting more distance between himself and the cruel demonstration taking place. At the end of the hall was a flight of stairs leading up to the next level. On the next level was another hallway lined with large steel sliding doors. Looking at the map of the mines with his pip-buck, Neo sighed, shaking his head as the emptiness continued to spread through his body. This is a lot more elaborate than I thought, Neo said. Two Socks asked, how far are we away from the Elder Sails? Turning to Two Socks, Neo shook his head. It's on the other side of the mine. Returning to his pip-buck, Neo squinted his eyes, peering at a complex series of tunnels that made up the mines. By the way it looks, our best bet is to go through this big cavern that has a few barriers just ahead of us. Do you think it'd be safer that way? Two Socks queried. I'm not sure, Neo answered. But if we go the long way, which I'm guessing is the way the slaves are normally brought inside, we'll most likely encounter more problems. Likewise, there's a small detention cell near the chamber, which give us as levers when explaining why we're bringing you guys along. Once the hollow sensation reached Neo's stomach, his muscles felt loose and unsteady. Quickly casting a hoof over his stomach, Neo grit his teeth at the feeling air. Allie hurried to Neo's side, hovering a hoof an inch away from her back. Are you okay? Yeah, Neo replied as his eyes became more saturated with tears. I'll be fine. Let's just find out and get the hell out of here. Going to the end of the hallway, the group reached a round room with three large, rectangular sliding metal doors. Standing in the center of the little space, Neo glanced at each available door. From out of the door on the left, a mechanical whoosh sounded throughout the room, revealing three dark miners standing in the doorway looking at him. Both parties stared at each other for no more than a moment, before the mill miner spoke up. Who are you? It had stepping towards Neo. Stiffening his posture, Neo cleared his throat. I'm sorry? Who are you? It repeated. Who are you? Two other miners slinked to the mill side, cocking their heads to one side. Yes, yes, who are you? Not Legion, the two murmured in unison. Narrowing his eyes down, Neo kept his sights on the mill miner. I assure you, we're just moving through the mine. We're taking these prisoners we found to the detention cell on the upper level. The mill miner stopped an inch away from Neo's nose. Muffled behind a thick glare gas mask, Myers was brief, deep, and coarse. You, strange, not sure, unsure, a surface pony, not Legion. It spoke. Drawing his head back slightly from the imposing pace of the mire, Neo asked, why is that? I know, Surface Legion, the miner whispered in a wheezy voice. They walk proud, speak stupid, dirty. Leaning down on Neil's mechanical foreleg, the miner marked, too clean, too much metal. Stepping back from the miners, Neil bowed his head slightly to the creature. I'm sorry, if you have us confused with someone else. But I have my orders to take to the cells. Now, if you don't mind, I must bid you adieu. Facing the sliding door at the end of the circular area, the group went on looking for Adam. As they continued on through the door, even down the next hallway, the Myers followed them at a distance, sulking in the dim light of the corridor. The further the group walked down the hall, the more of the various pipes along the ceiling grew in thickness, as well as increased in their size. More started to bunch together like veins of a living, pumping beast. And the further they approached the next room at the end of the hallway, the more the pipes were, until the entire ceiling was covered in pipes of numerous sizes, hissing and grinding together. Opening the next great sliding steel door, a fierce, searing heat blasted Neo's fur. The second the door was parted, the air was burning with a red glow, scaring his vision in the hot melting light. Raising a hood to protect his face, Neo blinked at the warmth raining onto his legs. Lucy, with her own host shielding her eyes from the intense light beaming inside, coughed. What the hell's that? Batting his eyes, Neo gazed within the contents of the room. A large chamber lay before him, with a multitude of long, thick, twisting pipes running along the ceiling to an orb-shaped furnace. All about the area near the boiler were shadow pools of bubbling water, releasing into the air thin plumes of hot steam. Smaller pipes ran down the bottom of the boiler, into the pools below. Wooden wrenches were extended over the wires as dichromators with wrenches stood to the dozens of valves weathering the elaborate piping. Other massive cylinders placed side by side at the end of the light hall had fires burning below them, causing the metal above the flames to glow with a profound, searing aura. Briefly looking over his shoulder, Neo saw the Myers he had encountered earlier linger behind him in the shadows, standing at a distance behind the cover of a metal door in their hallway. Solid, green eyes pierced through the shadows. Guys, Neo whispered, let's hurry this up. We've got company that doesn't want to leave us be. Right, Neo replied in a firm nod. Then let us keep our cool. Let's not give them any reason to think wrongly of us. Heading into the boiler room, down the first wooden bridge spanning over one of the pools of boiling water, the group gingerly made their way across. Underneath the weight of their hooves, the supports holding them up creaked, while bending slightly and closer they came to the middle. Passing over one bridge, then another. Another they walked until everyone had made it around the furnace. Standing next to the aching steel boiler, they felt the full heat blast against them in clear, burning waves of fiery intensity. But they persisted. The door to the next hallway was within view at the other end of the room. Continuing onward to the exit, the exasperating feeling of sweltering fires came into full effect. Droplets of fresh sweat ran down the sides of their necks. Reaching the exit, the door switched open for them, letting the cooler air of the next hallway blow into their fur. Stepping through the threshold and turning air to the doorway, the glow of the great furnace died when the exit shut behind them. Beep! A cheerful little tone pinged. Beep! Stopping, Neo searched the area around it quickly. Beep! Beep! Two Socks approached Neo, pointing at Pip-Buck. Buddy! It's your Pip Dealio! My Pip-Buck? Neo murmured, looking down at the screen of his personal risk computer. Above the single tally of his compass, a low marker faded on and off. When each time it reappeared, the same notable beep chirped aloud. What is it? Asked Sally. Neo gave off a puzzled, crooked frown as he shrugged, staring down at the screen. I'm not sure what it is. Lucy hastily came forth to Neo, looking behind him. Whatever it is, as he whispered, I hope you can keep it down. You haven't forgotten already. We're being followed. An uplifting sense of joy overcame Neo, feeling rushing air as he charged through the deep, painful sinking that lingered inside him. I think we should follow it, see where it takes us. Lucy snapped her gaze to him, jolting back. What? Just came out of nowhere. We should stick to what we're doing. Forget that baby never started. I can't explain it, Neo said, energy pumping, but I think we should go toward it. It'll take us closer to Adam. Lucy retorted, Alright, it could get us killed! Dude, what do you feel like it's like? Yeah. Bloodstrider spoke from the slave line. Smile briefing at Bloodstrider. Neo pointed a hoof to the end of the hallway. Then we'll follow the marker. Let Neo gasped. Allie pointed Lucy in the back. Don't worry. I don't think we'll die doing it. Dropping her head, Lucy's eyes narrowed. You say that now. Bet you won't be so chipper when dark miners are swarming all over our dead bodies. Neo turned one of the knobs on his pit buck labeled volume. Then, picking up his pace, he led the group down the hall. Lucy grumbled to herself, sulking at the end of the party. The door to the boiler room opened. Standing in the doorway was the three miners. Behind them was the burning orange glow of the room that ignited the hallway with a bright warm light. Shadows blanketed the front of their thin figures, all but their eyes lamenting the darkness. Gathering behind them, more masked faces came into view as more of the boiler room miners slithered by their side. This place is like a maze, Adam mumbled as he mumbled the narrow hallway. Looking down at the end of the corridor, Adam's brow furrowed as numerous doors of identical quality lined each wall endlessly. Slowly pulling out the map on his pip-buck, he sighed. Upon the screen, dozens of interlapping tunnels twisted and turned, blocking their location on the map. We're on the correct level, but I'm not sure if we're going to go back will take us the right way, or if we need a wrong turn. What's our destination look like? Bill asked. It's a big round chamber, Adam replied, scratching the top of his mane. It doesn't tell me what it is, though. A few bodiless, muffled voices carried on the passageway, both deep and gruff, growing in volume the longer the three of them stood idly in the hall. Peeking over her shoulder, Big let step. Meow, hi! Meow! Adam dropped his leg, frantically circusing in all directions for a hiding spot. But where? Bill so anxiously patted on the ground as he looked to the main doors of the hall. Well, maybe one of them rooms will work. The words of the two oncoming ponies were now clear. Like the raspy kisses of the local miners, the voices opposing their persistence were normal in tone. Coherent strikes her at their speech. Goddamn that's one of the two voices replied. I swear the minute I get in the rest of the upper levels, it sends the orders to pull out. Shut up! You're not getting paid to complain. Let's just wait for it to blow over. Then you can have your break, the air voice carried. Adam stepped to the nearest door, tapping the dim orange button to seal the orange flame. The dual metal doors retracted, seized at the exact moment they did. Three escaped slaves leaped inside the next room while the door closed behind them. Surprised by the metal doors, the voices spoke to one another on the right outside the hallway. Pressing themselves firmly to the damp rocky wall beside the door, all three ponies held their breaths. The thumping sound of hooves outside the hall, clumping against the cavernous ground, faded as the soldiers went on by. Exhaling altogether, Big Lot put a hoof to her chest, feeling her little heart pound furiously. Them snooks! Big Lot chuckled under her heavy breathing. Falling on back onto his flank, Adam closed his eyes, laying his head at the sharp wedged tone of the hall. That was close. Sitting down as well, Bill whined. A little too close for my liking. Adam stood up, peering at the room before them. What did we step into anyway? A small square residential chamber lay in front of the three ponies. Not much was to the living space, but the basic essentials. A cot, a wooden nightstand dangling like fixture. Most noticeable quality of the room was the dresser on the left wall. All around it, immense and dense piles, were green crepes and uniforms. The drawers on the end had been torn out of their slots in the dresser, left flung, holding angrily, barely onto the piece of furniture by the end of its frame. Baygot picked herself up and tried to run over the many grand masses of Legion attire. Taking a keep at the pile, she raised an eyebrow at I always needed the green color of the Legion uniforms, even when I was at my border. Adam walked to the same big pile Baygot looked at, shifting his head to one side in a strange scene. Who lived here? Why would they toss all their clothes out like this? Piglet shrugged. Whoever it was pretty well decorated. Stroking the soft, fine fresh surface of the keep, she remarked, This material's way too nice for a sergeant or a captain. Then who would it belong to? Bill interjected.
Someone like he, Bigard boasted. Someone with great power and control. Probably one of Vladimir's personal favorite heads of operations. I don't know. Hard to say, really, since they don't put their names on these things.
Turning around, the cot took Alice's attention. The single door of the nightstand, too, was open. Only laying upon the ground was a holotape. Stepping up to the recording device, Adam picked it up with one hoof.
A holotape?
Adam said under his breath. Bill's ears perked up as he came to Adam. What'd you find?
A holotape,
Adam answered slowly.
Bigard dropped the key. What?
Shaking the tape lightly, Adam replayed.
A holotape. So?
Bigard hummed next to the cot.
Probably not really important. You never know what kind of stuff could be on it,
Adam responded. Pressing the holotape down on the cot, Adam turned his sights to the nightstand. Peeking into it, he dug around the very small pieces of junk stuffed into the drawer.
Whoa!
Adam gave sticky nose to the drawer.
Can't believe it.
What? Bill Bigard asked in unison. Stepping back from the nightstand, a thin back cable levitated out of the drawer, along with a few multicolored wires. Bigard folded her lips, her face expressing.
Wires?
Anna smiled.
They're pip-buck wires.
Bill shrugged. Not too sure what that's supposed to mean.
With this black cable, I could copy and download the recordings on the holotape.
Hovering the cord back to his pip-buck, Anna continued.
My only question is, how? Why is there pip-buck tech in the Legion officer's room? I still don't think it matters,
Bigard commented.
Well,
Anna said, plugging in a thin black cord in the slot device.
It does to me.
An empty bar popped onto Anna's screen with the orange words downloading hovering above it. Oi! Download speed! In a minute's time, the download between the pip-buck and the holotape was completed with a soft ping. Unplugging the recorder from his pip-buck, Adam turned to and faced the door.
Had to listen to it later. First, we need to get to that chamber. Beep, beep, beep.
The soft sound and mysterious pings floated through the air behind Neo, echoing faintly through the hallway they walked. How he turned the sound of his pip-buck to its lowest setting did little to mute the blurring audio.
Beep, beep, beep.
The sounds rang deeply in Lucy's ears, causing her eardrums to ache. Holding her nose just a few inches above the ground, not even the helmet could dull the irritating noise the pip-buck gave off.
Beep, beep, beep.
Can you keep that thing down? Surprised no one's heard already, Lucy grunted. Neo shrugged. Tried already. It's on the lowest volume setting. Glancing over his shoulder, Neo added, Say, are our miners still here? I looked down between them, down the opposite end of the hall. In the dim light of the mundane, winding hallway, not a body, figure, nor glow in the miner's eyes could be seen. Just emptiness as far as down she could see.
No,
Allie answered.
nothing.
Turning her eyes forward, Allie added,
Strange. Come to think of it, we haven't seen many Legion soldiers down here. Mostly just miners.
Briefly shifting his eyes from left to right, Neo saw the buttons on top of the door frames were off. Farther down the corridors, the lights to open doors were faded. Nothing but the fixtures on the walls seemed to be operating. Come to think of it, you're right, Neo countered. Not even in the boiler room.
I know, it's just strange.
Allie murmured, checking out to behind her once more. Ahead of the group was a deep cavern with long metal-plated bridge suspended by thick iron cables. Below the bridge was an area where small cranes were stationed next to the minecarts. Against the indented walls of the lower room on the floor, cone-shaped drills had the bits embedded to the side of the rock. Despite the abundance of tools, not a single soul was around operating the machinery. Stepping onto the bridge, Neil looked at the railing of the work zone. There's no workers. Two sharks hopped up into his hind legs, placing his forehooves on the rigid walls. Glancing over the edge of the railing, he blinked.
Spooky, if you ask me.
Beep, beep, beep. The pip-like sound beamed out the quiet walls of the vast cavern. A noise echoed forth on the other side of the bridge. It was not a voice or alarm, rather it was a calm pitter-patter of hooves trotting against the solid ground of the mine. Staring directly ahead, the others stood attentively at the end of the bridge. From the distance, the next hallway at the end appeared blanketed in a dense layer of darkness. Anything that was approaching them would have to emerge from the shadow, face them on the opposite side. Clip, call, clip, call. Neil lowered his breathing, taking in almost silent, shallow breaths. In the wake of his approaching stranger, his hind legs began to shake. Why am I afraid? Neil thought. They'll just walk past us, like the others. Unless it's the might. Three figures took form in the shadow at the opposing end of the bridge. Just at the border where the weak light of the cavern met the hallway, standing upright with their heads held highly, the crude outline of the unknown entities could be seen. The mill pony, standing in the shadows, emerged from the concealing darkness. In the cavern's soft illumination, the pony's details became clear. Short brown, dusty mane, with parted bangs came into view. On his side, emerald eyes, and a dirt-stained coat of blue. On opposing sides of the blue pony was a donkey and a filly. Neo's eyes went wide. Ow! Neo whispered, hurrying the verge of stopping. For a moment, Al looked at Neo, cocking his head to one side. Throwing his officer's cap from his head, Neo dashed across the bridge, tears pooling in the corners of his eyes. Ow! Two Socks stumbled forward, removing the leasing helmet from his head. Laying it clattering against the bridge's metal plates, the prairie pony choked. Hey, is it really them? Al's eyes grew open. Brother? Adam! Adam, it's me! Neo shouted, tears rolling down the sides of his face. Stepping out on the bridge further, Al started to tritely trot towards his brother. Brother! Galloping at full speed toward one another, they engaged each other, tightly wrapping their forelegs around each other's bodies. Tears, large and warm, came streaming down Neil's eyes as he felt the tender embrace of his brother. Adam, I found you. I finally found you. Sniffing, Neil said, I am so sorry for what I said. It'll never happen again. Ferrying his face to the shoulder, it was Neil's uniform. Al cried, smiling, It's okay. I forgive you. As he passed him, Two Socks bounced up and down, waving his hose in the air. Bill, Hey, Bill! It's me, Bill! I found you! Found you! Bill rolled his eyes, leaning over the big lot. Here's the part where he hugs me. Big Lot stuck a hoof in her mouth, making a giggling sound. Sickening. It's all sickening. Little Bill turned to see Two Socks. A blur of beige and green overtook them in a forceful tackle. Both tumbled to the floor. Two Socks rubbed his hose around Bill's necks. Failed you! I failed you! Two Socks exclaimed. As he saw his Bill, Two Socks bounced back with a beam of gloom. Can't believe I failed you! Standing back on all four hoofs, Bill patted himself down, sending small puffs of dust rolling off his body. Good to see you too, Two Socks. Next time, don't attack me, could you? Two Socks' smile disappeared. Instead, his lips curled together at sight of the little filly Big Lot. Bending towards her, Two Socks asked, What's your name, little woman? Puffing out her little chest, he boomed, I'm Big Lot, princess of the northern provincial border. Hey. Two Socks sighed. I always thought Big Lot was a stallion. Red-hot blood flushed into Big Lot's cheeks as she wrinkled her little nose. Not a stallion, I'm a princess. A princess! A sudden burst of energy sent Two Socks stepping back. Shite, I'm a lady. Removing the tight strap he had around his brother, Neil wiped away the tears, streaking his face with the unicorn sleeve. How did you get out? Adam gave his brother a smile, pointing to a screwdriver neatly tucked behind his ear. Determination and a smisses of patience. Neil laughed, nudging Adam in the shoulder. Skills, more like it. Pure skills. Bill and the others at the end of the bridge came walking across to join the others. Among them was Big Lot, keeping behind Two Socks and now Neil's sight. Looks like you got Bill, too. Neil chirped. Was there anyone else with you when you guys broke out? Al's eyes grew dark as he lowered his gaze slightly to the place beneath them. There were two others. Icefire and Arrow. He didn't make it. Patting Adam on the back, Neil said, Sorry to hear that. We'll have to give them a proper burial when we come back. Staring Neo in the eyes, Al's mouth hung open. You're coming back? Neo's eyes glistened with pure determination. After we find Mom, we're both coming back. To free them. All of them. Al nodded. Right. But, Neo started, I remember seeing three ponies at the end of this bridge. There was Bill, and you, and who's number three? Big Lot stood behind Two Socks. her heart pounding as the skin under her fur turned cold and pale. The curse she found herself in to spout out her tile earlier dissipated into nothingness. The pony she hurt, the pony she had threatened was merely feet away from where she stood. If there was a Celestia, watching down at her from above, and the sense of humor the goddess had was callous. You mean this one? Two Stars replied, stepping to the side, exposing Big Shot's little body. Neil stood up swiftly, glaring at her. Big Lot, what's she doing here? Leaving her host in the air, he pleaded, I can explain, Mr. Cowpants!
No,
Adam interjected, stepping in front of his brother.
I can't.
Adam! Neil barked. That little menace is trying to enslave us, so you brought me down, calling me that revolting name, man!
I think she's a good pony.
Adam stated. Neil held a perplexed expression in his mouth to keep. What? Did I hear that right?
Yes, you did.
Adam answered sternly. Leaning over slightly to the side, Adam extended a hoof, while Big Lot retaining eye contact with his brother.
I spent time with her while I was away. Sure, she could be a little snarky. Sure, she has problems. But she's not bad. I think it was the border that was making her crazy. Plus,
Adam smiled wryly,
she doesn't have anywhere to go. I thought she could come with us. At least, until she figures out what to do.
Squinting above his silver eyes at the filly, Neil muttered, She better behave then. And don't call me Mr. Cutie Head or whatever it is. Big Lot's ears perked up as he smiled at Neil.
I'll try, Mr. Cuddlepants.
Neil sighed. Right. Deathly Wail cried out of the cavern. The intensity of his pitch riled the wires of the bridge slightly. Behind him, the glow of three sets of sickly eyes glistened in the hallway. Every member of the party snapped their gaze towards the corridor. Appearing set by set were more pairs of illuminating goggles. 4, 8, 10, more surfaced in the shadows. Working underneath the lining hall, a miner came into sight. Down the corridor, standing in the glow of light fixture, the warren hissed, flanking towards them. Like fireflies bobbing in the still blackened of the night, the eyes of a dozen miners floated in the darkness. Kill, Theo whispered. Cleave, rip. Levitating the key to the shackles binding Wester, Neil backed up slowly. Wester, do you need your guns? Wester took the key, proceeding to uncock the cuffs contact to his legs, before focusing on the zebra restraints. Affirmative. Shackles struck to Wester. The zebras clicked unlocked. Snapping open, the heavy frizzy cuffs fell clambering into the sealed path of the bridge. Riding softly through the air, the sounds of the teams rebounded off the ceiling. Undoing Wester's gear from his, Neil tossed the foldable anti-rifle armor rifle. Alongside his holstered Python revolvers, Allie and Two Socks gave Bloodstriders equipment as they all gradually drew themselves back to the other end of the bridge. Without drawing their gaze away from the miners, Neil whispered, Adam, where were you going before we found you? Sweat profusely ran down Adam's neck.
To the secondary exit of the mines.
Neil swallowed hard. And where might that be?
Big round room. Couldn't find it on the map. Too many winding hallways overlapping.
Pulling out the map on his pip buck, Neil glanced at their current position. There's a big round room nearby. That one?
Yep.
Alice squeaked. Inhaling a deep breath through his nostrils, Neil muttered aloud, Everyone, I'm going to run very fast. Don't ask where, just run. Lucy had her own droplets of flesh running as amply gathering of brow. Frankly, I don't care. I don't give two shits as long as it's away from them. Good, Tivo was shaking nod. Run! Jumping around to face the other side of the bridge, dashed to the next hallway. Following his lead was the rest of the group, who was pounding under the steel under them. Their imminent retreat for the miners advanced shook the bridge. The warden let out another shrill shriek, darting around in quick pursuit. Darting behind him, and a rumbling of the mire heard, furiously gabbling, made the ground tremble. Winding past the hallway, swizzling down, veering tight corners against the walls flew by them. The swarming herd of gleaming eyes, tattered rags, the miners fall in a mad sprint only 100 feet behind. Air raced by the brothers' heads as their hearts strung briskly. In the state of pure adrenaline, the entire world was restricted to the narrow hallway of the mines. A rush of dingling airs exploded inside them, igniting greater speed and crisper, more acute senses. Neo, where are we even going? Lucy called. Where was he going? They all tailed behind him, trusted whatever decision he made to be the right one. Haunting corridors fling by them in their attempt to escape the miners. Adam too started to wonder where they might end up, following wherever path they were on. A wide set of polished metal doors gleamed in the dim light of the hall. Quickly approaching them, exclaimed, "There! They're shipping it! Kill cats! Spill blood! Rip! Make still!" The warden bellowed a grinding wail. The doors were barely parting as the miners closed in on them. Now only 50 feet from their trails, leaping through the open doors, the group skid forth. A cloud of thin dirt developed around them. A small bit of the grind came in through Neo's nose, driving him to let out a whooping cough as he searched for the exit. "Do you see it?" A familiar scorching heat penetrated the air, accompanied by a bright red gleam glow bristling the fur of his face. Instantly, the heat irradiated onto Adam, and into his defense he rose a foreleg over his eyes. "What is that?" Adam gasped. Batting his eyelids, Neo smiled. "It's a chamber. Another boiler room." "Another one?" Adam queried. Webster slung the rifle from his side to his back, using the inertia generated by the weight of the tip to unfold and lock it into working order. Lifting it up, the Myers heat fired a single booming shot, clipping the side of the warden's ear. The bullet impacted a Meyer galloping behind him. An explosion of tainted, glowing blood, the Myers' tail was completely severed from his neck. A few of the Myers behind him tripped over the body of their fallen comrade, setting off a chain of ponies tumbling off the top of one another. Even the warden became encased with the ponies avalanching onto his back. Compactly clustered in the hallway, the Myers of the chaotic raid started to pile on each other the more the bodies fell atop the necks. Lowering his rifle, the Wester said, "They'll buy us some time." "You could have done that sooner, Wester! Save us a lot of heartache!" Lucy barked. Slinging the rifle back to the rest persisted at his side, Wester shook his head. "No, Lucky. I needed a good shot. Additionally, these are my favorite bullets. I've used too many, and wasting them would be unsatisfactory." Lucy shook her head, pressing a hoof to her face. "Oh, jeez." Cora rose with wobbling legs, pushing a grinding Meyer. "Warning, you might want to hurry your search," Wester announced. The boiler room before them was nearly identical to the previous one they had visited. The only exception was that the three set of cylinder bowling tanks were cold, leaving behind a darkened area in the far corner of the room. Adam briskly brought his pip-up map, humming to himself as he scanned the mine's elaborate tunnel system. A voice called out from behind a heap of groaning Myers. "Quick! Stop them!" The voice's request was met with the addition of marching hooves, thundering echoing down the hall. Allie's hooves were feverishly tapping at the door. "That's the Legion! What are we supposed to do?" Taking a slow, deeply rasping breath, the warden dragged us out toward them. "Die! Rip! Make still!" he coughed. Adam bit down his lower lip. No, I'm looking! If they go the wrong way, we'll—" The boisterous voice of a stallion called out to them from the six boiling tank's room. "Hey, you lot! Over here!" During the gaze to the source of the cry, they saw standing on the end of the track a crimson stallion, dressed in worn, dented freelancer armor. Waving the hoof, the pony bounced up and down in the air. "This way! Hurry!" he called. "A freelancer?" Neil said under his breath. "Why do I keep getting this image in my head of red versus blue? Come on!" The warden within was 5 feet from Wesper, here, letting out a cringing wheeze with each breath. Kill, he hacked. Lucy shoved Neil forward. Go, oh, come on, let's move! Trying at first, the group picked up their pace, making a full gallop to the stranger. Ducking behind the cover of the tanks, the guardian beckoned them to follow his hoof. Walking behind the concealing safety of the boiling tanks, the group was out of sight. The warden, lumbering towards a doorframe, tripped over his own footing, casting himself on the cave wall. He gasped for air, so whispered into the mass seethed loudly. The warden's throat continued to convulse. "Must find, hunt, kill." Everyone was compacted within the confined space of the boiler tanks. Neil was in front of the group, looking back at the multitude of ponies in the group. "Everyone's here, right?" he asked. Lucy rose her head up, peering the bodies against her. "Yeah, I think we're all here." Neo sighed, wiping his hood from a palsied brow. "Guess it turned out okay in the end." "Not yet, I would say." A deep voice objected. "We could be at ease once we leave this place." Turning to face the voice. Neo saw standing over him a tall, red unicorn stallion. He had a clean black mane with streaks of silver hairs. Above his forehead, short parted bangs were eased to the side, while a long, woven ponytail was tied behind his head. His eyes held a strange shade of purple. Not quite too dark, but not too far as well. Whatever cutie mark he had was obscured by the thick duster and armor he wore. Staring up at the opposing height of the guardian, a strange nicking poked in the back of Neo's mind. With a strange eyebrow, Neo asked, "Have I seen you before?" The stallion shook his head. "No, I shouldn't say so." Neo drew himself back, gazing headlong into the purple eyes. "You have other questions, don't you?" the guardian asked. Alan lifted his head to speak, but the moment before he could, the guardian spun around, jerking his head towards the back of the tanks. "They'll have to wait. We need to get out of here first." Neo looked at Adam. Striking at his brother, the group followed the guardian back to the wall behind the tanks. A piece of corrugated sheet metal covered a hole in the ground, leading to a dark tunnel. A wooden ladder, held together by a tightly created caucasus of caulk that rusted nails, leaped down into the unknown. Hopping down the ladder, the guardian descended into deep underground. "Follow me," he instructed. One at a time, each member of the group climbed down to the moaning wooden steps of the tunnel. Lucy was the last party to get into the hole, posting her body deep into the edge of the mine. She dragged the sheet metal over her as they snuck away from the dark mines. Phew! 3 parts! This whole entire thing! 3 parts! Oh, Lord! Oh, almost forgot. Thank you. Footnote. Level up. You now gain new perk, Circus of Values. You now gain additional 3 points to spend on talents and specs. Don't forget to spend when gaining more points. Footnote. Level up. New perk. They said I could be anything. As a mechanic, you were born to do great things, especially when it comes to fixing things. XP when repairing or crafting items of any rarity. I hope you guys are satisfied by me cutting this up into 3 parts.